Well, welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another edition of Seen Beyond and Through with Monty. And right before you is beauty and makeup guru Jeffree Star. And Mrs. Star has been making news here lately because of the romance. And I wanted to do this video here because there has been some shocking allegations along with surprises that I'm very surprised that people are surprised about. And that particular thing, let's get right to it, is that, and I'm confused about it, shall I say Mr. or Mrs. But Jeffree Star, we'll just say Jeffree Star, because I want to be politically correct, and I'm not trying to be insultive. But Jeffree Star has made racial remarks in the past. And because of those racial remarks in the past, people are questioning and wondering, how can he be in a relationship with a black man? Now that's kind of surprising because I would have thought that people would know that being a racist has nothing to do with desirability, where you're eroticized by what you find attractive or what turns you on. Well, let's make this clear. It's not clear cut for everyone because there are, different gradations of racism, and there are many people who look at it in different ways. It could be a different spectrum for each individual. But for a lot of times, it will not stop a non-black racist for wanting a BBC. It didn't stop any slave masters from wanting or desiring that. And they were very racist. We know that all throughout the history of America, that black women, Indian women, and others who are non-white have been raped by racists. So it's very surprising that people are surprised that a racist would take up with the very race who they disparage. And we're going to go through a history with this here, because we're not going to stop at Jeffree Star. Reportedly with his new boo thing, apparently he has an attraction and a type. And many people are not aware of that. When you are racist, as I stated before, it does not stop your desiring or being eroticized or fetishizing or being sexually turned on by what you put down. Because being a racist can simply mean that you think you're above and beyond that particular person, thinks that you are better, think that you're more special, thinking that you are a prize, and that particular person should be glad to have you. It does not necessarily mean that in every single case. I want to string you from a tree, lynch you, hang you, or wish death upon you. It could just mean an air of superiority. We know who this is. I'm not even going to mention his name. But many of you may be too young to recall, 20 plus years ago, back in the day, Mike Tyson was the heavyweight champion of the world, confronted Donald Trump over Robin Givens. Yes, Tyson's then wife, Robin Givens. There were rumors going around that Trump was fooling around with Robin Givens. And Trump even stated that, reportedly, she gave awful head. Here they go again. He was able to get in close with them because he took on the role as a financial advisor. Now, I can really believe this affair. I'm going to tell you the reason why. Robin and her mother, Ruth Roper, Tyson stated were very ruthless women, and Robin herself was known to make disparaging remarks about Tyson, calling him a Rottweiler, or comparing him to a dog that she had just bought, and said that he looks just like the dog. And she was known as a gold digger. So a man like Trump, who obviously had more money than Tyson, I can picture her going after him. But apparently it led to nowhere, except Trump bragging about the awful head job she gave. But, I do not believe that she necessarily loved Mike Tyson. I believe that she was gold digging, in it for the money, notoriety. So if you lie, you steal. If you steal, you're killed. Not that she would go that far, not the killing part. But cheating, yes. With a man who's more financially sound and stable than Tyson? Of course. I can definitely believe that. And I mentioned Trump because we know that Trump's racial tendencies. He said disparaging things about Mexicans, about they're not bringing the brightest over here, blocking laws to prevent non-white countries from coming over, calling African countries shitholes. And I believe he said the same thing about Haiti, making it very difficult for Nigerians to get citizenship now, even though they were very self-sustaining and self-supporting, very high IQs, and scored extremely high on the SAT scores. Doesn't like the idea of blacks handling his money. Had difficulty in the 70s, had a lot of discrimination, rental complaints about his places. So we know of Trump's racial history. But look at that. It didn't stop him from allegedly fooling around with Robin Givens and fooling around with the biracial model. Kara Young, a biracial model who dated Trump, said she never heard him say a disparaging comment towards any race. Well, Karen, of course not. If he's trying to get between your legs, chances are he won't say it in front of you. You're not one of his good old boys, neither. I'm sure the language that he spoke to his good old boys is quite differently than what he spoke to you. And if you only dated Trump for a minute, babe, you were not there long enough to know his racial tendencies. So keep dreaming with that. Do we know who this is? Mr. Gabriel Aubrey, Halle Berry's baby daddy. Mr. Aubrey back in Canada was a known racist. One of his ex-girlfriends stated that she was very surprised that he even hooked up with Halle because he was known for his racial tendencies and racial form of speaking. And it turns out she was correct. Oh, did Halle get the shock of her life? Halle Berry's ex-husband called her N-word and wants daughter less black. Now, I don't know if they were married. I thought they were just boyfriend and girlfriend are living together. Or did they secretly get married? Anyway, he was a partner of hers. And she had a baby daughter with them. Nala, I believe. And witness says Halle Berry's ex called her ghetto N-word. Halle Berry's ex, Gabriel Aubrey, called her a ghetto N-word during an argument, according to court papers. Berry and Aubrey are currently in court for a custody battle over their 3-year-old daughter, Nala. And I believe he called her nanny, black nanny, the N-word also. But look at that. It didn't stop Gabriel Aubrey from, well, they said married. I thought they were just boyfriend and girlfriend, but becoming a partner to a woman who's not white. She considers herself black. But apparently he considers her black too, because look at the word he called her. He didn't call her zebra, didn't call her half-breed. He called her the N-word. So he considers her black too. It didn't stop him from hooking up with a black woman. Many times it doesn't stop a racist from hooking up with someone who they deemed that they are better than. Mr. Donald Sterling, owner of the Clippers, who is now banned for life. This is his ex-mistress, V. Straveros or Stravanos. She's black and Mexican, and she agreed to be his mistress. She heard a lot of disparaging remarks coming from him. He did not like her hanging around with black NBA players. He did not like them coming to his game, coming to the games. Isn't that ironic? He was the owner of the Clippers, but didn't like her to bring black friends to the games with her. Isn't your basketball team like 99% black? And you didn't like that? The irony with that. He's sleeping with a girl who's half black and Mexican. By the way, she considers herself black. She wrote about that, wrote about their relationship. And she said she felt very uncomfortable with being around him because of his racial tendencies. But the money was too good. This is Bill Maher, new black girlfriend. Now, Bill Maher pretty much only dates black women. She's a beautiful black woman. Here's another one. And apparently, I touched on this a couple of weeks ago about white men liking dark-skinned. Now, she's dark-skinned, both of them are. But he pretty much likes dark-skinned black women. And hey, more power to you. Nothing wrong with that. Beautiful chocolate. But Bill Maher had some bad tendencies. He had some bad racial tendencies. Here's some of his ex-girlfriends. He doesn't keep them that long. Bill Maher's ex-girlfriend insinuates that he used the N-word frequently during their relationship. She's not the only one. There was another ex-girlfriend who stated that whenever they got into an argument, the N-word would come out of his mouth. That's typical with racists. Get them boiling over, those N-words would spill out. They just cannot contain them. Being a racist would not stop most from dating, sleeping with someone who they despise, who they believe is less than, or who they believe they think they are superior over. Know who this guy is? This is a DJ, goes by the name Afrojack. He is part Dutch, part Suriname. Half black, half white. Difficult to see there, but mixed. Do you know who his ex was? A Harris, or his heiress. And she was known to fly off the handle with the N-word. Here she is right there, with the full-fledged black guy she moved on to. Shock new couple, Paris Hilton and 50 Cent. Now this was some years ago. They were caught in Vegas, fooling around. Paris Hilton and 50 Cent have been spotted canoodling in Las Vegas. The rapper made his move on the Hotel Harris at a lunch party for his new album, Curtis, at the Hard Rock Hotel and Casino on Saturday night. A source said 50 played a few songs and then made straight for Paris. She was laughing and unashamedly flirting and couldn't keep her hands off him. He nuzzled up to her and they cuddled. The couple could have been romantically linked once before when Paris was 26 and said to have spent the night with the 31-year-old hip-hop star at last year's Cannes Film Festival. The Simple Life star has previously confessed to having a crush on 50. She said, "He's so cool. He's really funny and so cute too. And I love his music. I think he would be the best boyfriend a girl could wish for." Okay, so knowing her, knowing him, something went down. But remember two black guys, they were very young. They were very excited to see her at the airport and they approached her. They were very friendly. They were not rude. They just happened to ask was she Paris Hilton, how much they liked her, and for an autograph. And she called them stupid ends. Can you believe that? Now, Hilton's racial slur on tape. One of her exes said that she would drop the N-word constantly. Now, this would have been some years ago. I do believe that people can change. But no one who's seen 2007 Paris Hilton spew racist, homophobic slurs is surprised by her Trump support. So she's supporting Trump. You know, if someone is trying to get over their racial tendencies, you don't go around effing a black person or the person who you think you're better than or who you're racist against to get rid of racism. To me, that's kind of like putting a bandage on a wound. I do not think that's the way that you deal with it. I mean, I just don't think that you can F it away, so to speak. So chances are it's still there. And I think it's a person's way of trying to assure themselves that by me sleeping with a black man, in this case right here, I cannot be racist. Do you know who this is? This is from back in the day. Her name is Paula Barbieri, and she dated none other than the Juice, O.J. Simpson. She was known to spew the racist lingo from her mouth. She even went on tape apologizing for it. But it's just amazing how people think they can get with someone who's black, in his case right here, and think that it heals everything, that somehow it alleviates them from being racist, or that they are cured. No. It doesn't work that way. You cannot bang racism away. Here's an interesting picture. There's Paula Barbieri, O.J. Simpson, Kris Jenner, and at that time, Bruce Jenner, who's now Caitlyn Jenner. Now, this is interesting because I thought that O.J. got with Paula after Nicole was found murdered. And I thought Kris Jenner thought O.J. did it. So it's strange that she would be posed up in a picture with him. Look at Bruce's face. I mean, Caitlyn's face. I'm sorry. No disrespect there. It says something a little different, like he's not really happy to be in that particular picture. So, yes, a racist can definitely date someone who they are racist against, who they despise. Because racism a lot of times is based on superiority. I think I'm better than you. I think I'm above you. Based upon my skin color. Based upon a certain trait, an affectation. Based upon, it can lead into culture. It can lead into a lot of different things. But no, it would not prevent you from dating someone who you despise or is racist against. So that was just a simple lesson right there. And racism and dating, hooking up and sleeping together, and sometimes even marrying the person you are racist against. And that is another edition of Seeing Beyond and Through. And I will see you beyond and through.